to ArchRivals Football, sponsored by Raz Energy and Steiner Sports. Here is your starting lineup. Number 20, Darnell the Playmaker Sallins. Number 94, Alex the Bearman Kazzaz. Number 69, Ricky the Preslit Winkowicz. And in tribute to our fallen colleague, ArchRivals Football Ring of Honor member Alex Fleming. This show is a Pain Train Pipe Bomb production.
Mm-hmm. As you can see, Bearman. San Diego State is back in the group of top 5.
As they should be.
Coastal Carolina suffered a loss to Georgia Southern. They fall out of my top 5 for the first time this season. San Diego State re-enters, and while the other four, Cincinnati, UST, go ahead and play the Road Runner soundbite for Bearman for me.
Beep, beep.
Houston Cougars and the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. They all won, so they all stay in their spots.
And not surprising, you got Cincinnati at number 1.
So Eric, when you win, you don't get punished for winning, okay? That's just me. You don't get punished for winning. Unlike other people that I know. And as you can see, we have the slate up there, man. Every game on this slate has meaning. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So stick with me. Everybody stick with me. And I'm going to tell you why each game is on here, for those of you who don't know. Friday begins the slate because we have Air Force at Nevada. We're talking Mountain West, Bearman, and you know how I feel about the Mountain West.
Mm-hmm.
Air Force is a game back of Utah State for the Mountain Division. Nevada is one game back of San Diego State for the West Division. You see why that game's important?
I do.
A loss here, you're out of the race. You're done. A win, however, you have hope. You have hope. So that should be fun. Friday, FS1, 9 o'clock.
It's about winning. That's what it meant. That's what it's all about.
And then we get to Saturday, the 20th, ladies and gentlemen. That first game on the docket. You see that, Bearman?
Mm-hmm.
Game of the week. College game day is going to be there. Big noon kickoff on Fox is going to be there. I believe they will be there. We're talking number 7, Michigan State, traveling to Columbus, Ohio to take on the 4th-ranked Buckeyes of Ohio State. The rankings by itself tell you how important it is, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
That's the playoff rankings, so that by itself tell you how important it is. But check this out, though. Ohio State leads the East Division. And guess who's behind them?
Michigan.
And Michigan State.
And Ohio State has yet to play Michigan.
And they're getting their first crack at Michigan State, and then next week is Michigan.
Mm-hmm. A little Thanksgiving.
They finishing the season with back-to-back Michigans.
Hey, you know what? If you're Ohio State, Ohio State simply says, "Bring it on, tough guy."
This right here is the beginning of finding out who's going to take the division and head to Indianapolis for the Big Ten Championship.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something else important about this game, Bearman.
Oh, yeah. Always just something important with these SEC, these Big Ten showdowns.
Hey, who's in a Heisman race for Michigan State?
Oh, that would be the running back.
Kenneth Walker, right?
Yes, sir.
And I do believe Ohio State has a Heisman candidate as well, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes, they do.
C.J. Strauss.
Mr. Stroud.
So it's Walker versus Stroud as well when we talking Heisman.
Quarterback versus running back.
And this is a noon game at that. By the way, when they play Michigan and Ann Arbor next week, that's a noon game too. I hope y'all know that. So this Saturday coming and next Saturday, be kicking off with Big Ten action. That's going to have a lot of complications with it. I hope y'all know that.
And Ohio State playing Michigan in enemy territory. But you know what? Ohio State, they don't give a shit. It doesn't matter to them where they play Michigan, because in Ohio State's mind, they're going to kick their ass.
But we'll talk more about that on that Saturday. But this is Michigan State a win over Ohio State and at Columbus, Ohio, Michigan sets them up perfectly to get into the playoffs. Ohio State wins, we already know. Ohio State, they setting this up even more prettier for the playoffs.
But in Ohio State's case, if they lose this game, championship hopes are dead.
Mm-hmm. That's the first 12 o'clock game. You ready for the next 12 o'clock game?
Yeah, a little ACC showdown, right?
Taking a trip down to South Carolina. Clemson, South Carolina, to be exact, because the Clemson Tigers are hosting the 10th ranked Demon Deacons of Wake Forest. Guess what,
It just hasn't. Clemson, it just hasn't been a good year, has it?
Surprisingly, you know they only lost 3 games.
Right?
They 7-3.
I mean, they're not ranked anymore.
They're not ranked, but when you look, they 7-3.
And guess what? And they're second in the ACC Atlantic.
Behind who?
Behind who? Wake Forest, baby.
Wake Forest has a game and a half lead on Clemson.
And Clemson's on a 3-game winning streak.
Wake Forest has another conference game to play after this. That North Carolina game was not a conference game, which somebody needed to explain to me how the hell 2 ACC teams play each other and it's not a conference game. Somebody needs to explain that to me. I don't understand that.
They got Boston College.
Wake Forest and no. Oh, that's a tough one. That's not an easy game.
At Boston College. That's Matt Ryan's alma mater.
And Clemson would be playing South Carolina, so it doesn't affect them at all.
It doesn't.
So Wake Forest, if you are for real, because when I first said this, y'all was gonna start playing the teams that y'all need to play. You got beat by North Carolina. Lucky enough for y'all, they consider that a non-conference game, which I still don't understand. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense to me.
Don't make sense to the playmaker. If it don't make sense to you, it might not make sense for me.
If you lose to Clemson, you have to beat Boston College to get in. But if you take care of business and you show the world that you are for real, and you beat Clemson at Death Valley, by the way, then we'll take you seriously.
Mm-hmm.
This is the game of the year for Wake Forest. This game right here is the game of the year for Wake Forest. All right. You ready to go back up north, Bear Man?
A bit. But if this is the game we're about to talk about next, the ranking of this certain team, this is what I'm talking about, the respect.
SMU travels to number 5 Cincinnati. Boy,
number 5.
Boy, look at here. I told you Houston is already in a championship game, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's either SMU or Cincinnati who they're going to play. And what 2 teams play each other?
SMU and Cincinnati.
So, SMU is 2 games behind Cincinnati, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, after this game, Cincinnati plays Eastern Carolina, which I believe Eastern Carolina is going to be in for an ass whooping regardless.
More than likely.
So pretty much, I am already penciling in Cincinnati versus Houston for the American Conference Championship, okay?
Okay.
But this game is important, though, because I said they 2 games back, right?
They are 2 games back, so it is important. But every game should be treated as very important.
Cincinnati wins, they're in. If they lose, however, bye-bye playoffs.
I mean, if they lose, this is a winning streak that goes back to last year. Gone.
Bye-bye playoffs. Bye-bye. So, Cincinnati, Desmond Ritter. You want something? You want to be respected. Don't lose to SMU. Do not lose to SMU. Keep winning. Stay undefeated.
Stay undefeated.
Stay undefeated. That's your only hope. That's your only hope. Just letting you know. All right, let's head down to my conference. Let's head down south. We're going to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 3:30. Oh yeah, by the way, the SMU Cincinnati game begins at 3:30 slot. That will be on ESPN. Going to get 3:30 CBS. 21 Arkansas is at number 2 Bama. Arkansas is 2 games back of Bama for the West Division. Bama wins this game. The ACC is set for Georgia and Alabama because Georgia clinched like 3 weeks ago. That's how quickly they clinched. They clinched so fast, we forgot they clinched.
Well, let's not forget. Next Saturday, the Iron Bowl.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to get to that. Hold on. But I say they win. They are in, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I believe there's a person in this game that's also in the Heisman race. I believe his name is Bryce Young, quarterback for Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
That's the top 3 right there, right?
That's the top 3, my friend.
They all got big games. And speaking of which, if you want to go ahead and look at next week, Bo Nix is done for the season.
He's done for the season.
That's a huge blow to Ole Miss. Because Auburn has to play Alabama without Bo Nix.
At home, too.
And I believe that game is in Tuscaloosa.
No, it's actually at Auburn.
Is that Auburn?
Mm-hmm.
Hey. Let's just say I don't like Ole Miss chances. Okay. I don't like Arkansas chances either, but it's really between Alabama and Ole Miss. I don't like the chances. The fact that Bo Nix is done for the season, I don't like their chances. So, Alabama wins. We can officially write in Georgia versus Alabama down in Atlanta, Georgia for the ACC championship.
That's what everybody wants to see, my friend.
Well, Bama can put the final touches on it by beating Arkansas. That's all they got to do. That's all they got to do is beat Arkansas. Stand in the South. Heading over to the Texas San Antonio area because UAB traveling to 22 UTSA. And why is this game on the list that y'all saying, Playmaker? Why do we care? Because guess what? We're talking UTSA. Conference USA. We're talking Conference USA, and UAB is 1 game back of the aforementioned UTSA for the West Division of the Conference USA.
Not to mention UTSA is ranked number 22.
But if the Roadrunners take care of business and beat the Blazers, they are in the Conference USA championship game.
They are.
And
so this game is important to UTSA.
Exactly. You see, are you starting to catch on like type of games I'm looking at now?
Mm-hmm. Trust your judgment, Playmaker.
We in the middle of November now. This means we are in this week, and that's it for the regular season. You get a week off because it's Army and Navy week, and then we come back. It's conference championship. So you're talking about we're a month away from conference Saturday, okay? We're a month away from championship weekend. So the games I'm looking at who needs it for the conference wise. So UTSA, they can clinch their spot in the Conference USA championship game if they handle business.
I mean, either way, the fact that they're ranked number 22, they're going to want to win at all costs. They want to stay ranked.
And speaking of Conference USA, correct? Oh, is that Conference USA? Make sure Louisiana's in Conference USA. I believe if they're not in Conference USA, they ain't in the Sun Belt. But I had Louisiana here because they're playing Liberty. That's an interesting game because even though it's not a conference game, because Liberty is independent, Liberty has been one of them teams that's been playing well that goes under the radar. Correct?
Yes, sir.
And Louisiana is Louisiana. I'm pretty sure the whole state of Texas know about Louisiana at this point in time right now. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So that's something I wanted to look at because that's an interesting game to watch. Because if Louisiana can go to Liberty and beat them, that just further the capping their belt for their conference, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the Sun Belt that the Raging Cajuns are in. And the Sun Belt is looking pretty decent. I believe Louisiana, they are probably already have clinched their spot. Yeah, Louisiana has already clinched the Sun Belt West because they're like undefeated and everybody else only won but 2 games in that conference. Good Lord. It looked like Alabama in that conference right about now. And they'll either get Coastal Carolina, Georgia State, or Appalachian State in the Sun Belt Championship game, but that's to be determined on the other side. So
it all remains to be seen.
It's a good test for Louisiana to take on a Liberty team that's independent on ESPN 4 p.m. That's a game to watch, okay? Take a look at Louisiana, see how they play, see what Texas had to deal with early in the season.
Oh, oh boy.
Texas won the game, though.
Yeah. And look what they've done since. Absolutely nothing but lose. 5 straight. The fucking Kansas.
Yeah.
God.
Yep. All right. We heading back to your conference, though, Bear Man, because number 11, Baylor.
Against Kansas State.
Kansas State.
You know, what is there to think about this game? I mean, Baylor is hot. They just beat Oklahoma. They're not going to halt that momentum. So I'm telling you. Give me Baylor. I mean, Baylor's going to keep it alive.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is why I am the host of this show. This is why I am the guy, because check this out. Baylor is a game back of OU and Oklahoma State. And we know OU and Oklahoma State got to play each other next week.
Yes, they do.
Correct?
Correct. Traditional Oklahoma rivalry. Bedlam.
Guess who's a game back of Baylor?
Who would that be?
That would be the Wildcats of Kansas State.
Mm-hmm.
So that's because you feel like Baylor should walk in and beat Kansas State. Not in Manhattan. Nah, not in Manhattan, Kansas, sir. Manhattan, Kansas is another one of those places where it's like Blacksburg for Virginia Tech, Ames, Iowa for Iowa State. You just not finna walk in there and think you finna win. That is not going to happen. So
Baylor's tough as hell. But you're right.
So the Big 12 is literally up for grabs right now because Oklahoma couldn't put the stranglehold on it.
I mean, let's not forget, Kansas State's on a 4-game winning streak.
Oh, and by the way, Iowa State is in that mix too.
They're in the mix too.
And by the way, that's who Oklahoma plays in Norman, Oklahoma this week. Iowa State. Let's throw that out there. And Oklahoma State, they got Texas Tech. You know, that team that like to put up 500 points on you. So, yeah. If you're a Big 12 fan, you better watch every game this Saturday. I mean, every game this Saturday. Because I'm telling you right now, don't think Oklahoma State's going to run over Texas Tech. Don't think Baylor's going to run over Kansas State. And don't think Oklahoma's going to run over Iowa State.
I mean, it is in Manhattan. Anything could happen. But I would obviously say Baylor has no choice to win but to win.
Oklahoma and Oklahoma State too.
Mm-hmm.
But Iowa State and Kansas, they know they still have something to say. So your conference should be fun to watch, Bear Man.
Should be.
Can it be some okay? Can it be some chaos going on over there in the Midwest?
I mean, it's bad enough that the Longhorns are just, an utter embarrassment.
And then, if you did think I was going to go out west, you're sadly mistaken, okay? You know, I have to always go out west, Bear Man. And guess what? That's our primetime game of the slate. 7:30 ESPN. I mean, ABC, not ESPN. 7:30 ABC. Pac-12. The Oregon Ducks crack versus the Utah Utes. It's 3 versus 23, Bear man.
Yeah, a little Pac-12 action.
And you want to know how important this game is besides the rankings?
Well, it's all obviously important because every game must be taken seriously.
I'm saying you want to know other reasons why?
Sure.
Oregon wins, they clinch the Pac-12 North. Hold on, wait. If Utah wins, Utah clinches the Pac-12 South.
So there's something on the line for both teams, which is good.
Christian, thank you for joining us. So, as you can see, somebody's clinching their division by the end of this primetime matchup. Somebody's clinching their division. Somebody is stamping their way to Pasadena for the Pac-12 championship game.
That's what it's about.
Oregon, you just got to win. That's all you got to do. If you just win and not take another loss, you're good. You already beat Ohio State. You can add 23 Utah on the road to your list. That's at Ohio State and that's at Utah on your resume. You're good.
You're good, bro.
But Utah, on the other hand, if they win, I wonder what the committee would do then. If Utah takes down Oregon. I'm just saying. Because guess what? Because guess who are big Oregon fans right now? That would be Herm Edwards and the Arizona State Sun Devils. They are a game back of Utah for the South.
So there's going to be consequences if there's a loss.
Out of all the games that's on that slate, that last one, I think has the most consequences out of all of them.
Well, at this point of the season, a loss has major consequences, Mr. Playmaker, because we're way past the point where shit gets real, brother.
Oh, we at the threshold now.
Oh, we at the threshold big time.
We are at the threshold.
So you're in the middle of the ring, trapped in the walls of Jericho. You can't get to the ropes. You are screaming in pain.
Because guess what? Next week, Utah plays Colorado on Friday. Black Friday, and that would be Black Friday at that. The civil war between Oregon and Oregon State is next Saturday.
Civil war, baby.
In Arizona State, they play Arizona. So when I tell you this week and next week, have your eyes on college football. Because I'm going to guarantee you this, Bear Man. One way or another, it's going to be some chaos. It's going to be some chaos.
That's a bit of college football for you. It's about the chaos, my friend.
But within these next 2 weeks, I hate to be a committee member trying to rank these teams now. Because it's going to be some problems. I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to tell everybody right now. And Mark Brogman, my buddy, thank you for watching. These next 2 weeks of these rankings, it's going to be some problems. It's going to be some problems.
Well, there's always problems to me because, either way, when the rankings are submitted, there's always going to be somebody that's got a problem with it. So chaos has really become college football's middle name now. Hey, what's up, Mr. Braverman?
And if anybody know me, I'm looking forward to the chaos.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking forward to the chaos. Because now everybody can put their feet to the fire with the playoff committee. How you gonna rank this team? How you gonna rank that team now?
Let's just say it's massive chaos, my friend.
So, I mean, that's a hell of a slate right there. That's a lot of consequences on that slate.
Consequences.
And this is what I love doing. So, with that being said, man, which team are you looking at most when it comes to this Saturday?
Oh boy. You know, I would probably say Ohio State.
Go on.
Well, you know, an SS. God damn it, not a Big Ten champion, a Big Ten classic, a big game like that. That puts asses in the seats, my friend. That's what catches people's attention, especially with everything that's going on with Michigan State and Ohio State. Those teams are hot right now, and we're going to see who is driven more, who is willing, who is more focused, who's the better team out of these two. That remains to be seen. Two Heisman contenders on both teams. One's a quarterback, one's a running back. One of these two are going to have a special day. Both players might have a big day, but only one of those two will walk away the winner.
That makes me throw a question to you.
I might have an answer for you, bro.
Is this the year the mighty falls off?
Excuse me?
Because when you think of Big Ten, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear Big Ten? Ohio State. So is this the year?
Back in the day was Michigan, but
that
now
the
it's
mighty
Ohio State.
Is this the year that the mighty falls?
It remains to be seen because, my friend, anything can happen. I feel like this Michigan State, Ohio State, you know the best way to kind of describe this game? You know, it's like one of those mighty action thriller films. You've seen films like that before, haven't you?
Where you want to begin at?
I mean, this game could be a thriller, especially in the fourth quarter, like a film. And then the good guy at the end prevails. Except in this case, who's the good guy? Who would be the good guy out of these two teams? Of course, Ohio State fans would say the Buckeyes, and then the other side would say Michigan State. But Wolverine fans would say it doesn't matter; they're both bad guys.
I think Michigan fans or Ohio State fans is that oddly to say because they lost to Michigan State. So Michigan State winning doesn't help Michigan at all.
Yeah, so I see this game as potential of being an action thriller film. Maybe something you would see in Mission Impossible.
If I'm thinking general population, I think most people might be pulling for the spine because I think they're tired of seeing Ohio State.
Yeah, well, Ohio State really doesn't care what the people that hate them think about them. If Ohio State's good, they're just going to prove it. That's what Ohio State does. They prove it.
I'm looking at the Ducks. I'm looking at the Oregon Ducks because, for those of you who don't know, outside of my Gators, I love the Ducks. And I need them to go ahead and clinch this North, because they might either have to face Utah again or they have to face Arizona State for the Pac-12.
Speaking of loving somebody out of Florida, everybody's asking me, outside of Texas, who do I love? I'm like, I'm not a diehard Longhorn fan. I was, but now I just enjoy the game. I'll watch Ohio State. I'll watch Big Ten action, SEC action. I just love the game, folks. That's what it's all about. That's the blessing of being a journalist. You get to watch the game freely. You don't have to worry about the fans saying, you're a fan of this team. You should be watching them. Man. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and watch the Longhorns embarrass themselves. That's not fun. Maybe a little comedy, but it's not fun. I mean, a team with that kind of history now being an embarrassment, it's pathetic.
And those of you like Ricky who like to do point spreads and stuff like that, because I know Ricky can hear me.
Dr. Ricky.
This week and next week, you want to pick your game very carefully of what you're gonna bet on, because these next 2 weeks, what are the famous three letters that we always say, Bear Man?
Don't trust anybody.
This DTA applies to these 2 weeks right here. This week and next week, because guess what? This week there's a lot on the line, and next week gonna be even more on the line, because guess what? Bear Man, next week is pretty much rivalry week.
Mm-hmm.
We talking rivalries next week.
You know, and speaking of rivalries, Mr. Braverman watching Survivor Series of 1994. The main event of that match was a pretty good rivalry, since we're talking about rivalries.
Yeah.
The Undertaker versus Yokozuna in the casket match, and Chuck Norris was the special guest enforcer. If I'm correct, Mr. Braverman, tell me if I'm correct.
That's interesting.
Well, we're talking about rivalries, and a lot of times people compare pro wrestling rivalries with college football rivalries. I mean, you can think that, but, it's hard sometimes to compare these kind of rivalries, but everybody loves to compare.
So, this is a prime example. Ricky, can you hear me? As you saw the first game on the list, that was Michigan State, Ohio State, correct? And you heard what me and Bearman said. I have the line in front of me, and it says Ohio State 19.
I probably would do the giving of the 19.
See, this is what I'm saying. Be careful on how you look at these games now. There's a lot on the line.
Well, it doesn't. Isn't there a Harbaugh running Michigan?
That's Michigan. I'm talking Michigan State. Next week is Michigan. Next week is Harbaugh and Ohio State.
Oh, well, it's still the Harbaugh suck. So
say that for next week, because you can say.
I'll have the "you suck jackass" thing going.
So be careful on how you bet these games, because it's not going to be clear cut and dry as you think it is. So, any final words, Bearman?
Well, I have an announcement to make, if that's okay with you and Ricky.
Go ahead.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've decided that there will be 2 more additions to the Bear of Texas podcast. And I want to thank all the supporters out there who really have been supporting me over the years, because it's because of loyalty like that that motivates me to take the challenge to the next level. So I'm happy to announce there will be a Texas Rangers show as well as a Dallas Stars show. And since y'all love hearing me bury my own Cowboys, you might as well hear me bury the other Dallas teams, if it's deserved. Keep that in mind. And I want to thank Ricky and Darnell for helping me get so far into my journey. So, gentlemen, thank y'all so much. I love you guys.
All right. That's good to know. Good to know. And I wish I could be on Saturday, because your Cowboys do got a big one. Ooh.
Well,
y'all got a big one.
I mean,
but I won't be.
I am responsible enough to admit that I did pick the Cowboys, but I apparently underestimated the Cowboys defense for once. I mean, this Cowboys defense played in a way we don't really see nowadays.
Oh, no. We're going to find out about the Cowboys Sunday. We're going to really find out about the Cowboys on Sunday.
Yeah, we will.
We really going to find out. And
it's like Ricky would say, Bearman, you got to have faith in your Cowboys.
I'm taking the rest of the week off, because I already did Rambley Talk. I did that earlier today. So if you haven't listened to that, go ahead and listen to that, because I'm going to let Bearman describe it to you.
Well, since Darnell was nice enough to steal my quote, it's a good episode, but just like me, Darnell just said, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help him God.
So if Steve Wildman come back and listen to this, you might go ahead and listen to that, because that might be your favorite episode, because damn it, I slept the fuck off on my Rams.
I mean, at the end of the day, guys, Darnell was simply being fair. I mean, the Rams got what they deserve as far as Darnell goes.
So, with that being said, until next week, Thanksgiving week, I'll be back on Tuesday with the fellas to preview week 12. I mean, week 11, because my team on the bye week, so that's why that happened. But other than that, until next week, Ricky and Bearman, they got y'all Saturday. I'm out of here.
It's going to be fun.
Hey, did you like that show? Like, share, follow, subscribe. Share out our shows to all of your social media. Need merchandise? Check out paintrainpipebomb.threadless.com for quality merchandise at great prices. Tune in next time for another edition of ArchRivals Football, and we'll catch you on the flip side.